Jason Trent stood at the edge of the landing platform, his heart beating faster than usual. He was about to meet the Aelari, an alien race no human had spoken to before. For years, Earth had sent explorers into space, but this mission was different. This time, it was about making friends, not finding new planets or resources. The sky above the planet was a strange mix of colors, soft purple clouds and golden sunlight. The Aelari city below looked like something from a dream. Tall towers twisted like vines, shining with colors Jason had never seen. He adjusted his suit and stepped forward. The crowd around the platform was large, full of tall, elegant aliens. Their skin was pale blue, their eyes bright and sharp. At the center stood the person Jason had heard about in the reports, Princess Lyra. Lyra looked at Jason with calm eyes, but there was something strong in her gaze. She walked forward slowly, her long silver hair flowing behind her. When she stopped in front of him, the crowd grew silent. Everyone waited for her to speak. Then, without any warning, Lyra smiled softly and asked, "Don't be shy, human. Say it. Do you love me?" Jason blinked in surprise. The question was strange, unexpected. He looked around, but no one seemed shocked. The princess's face was calm, even kind. Jason cleared his throat, trying to understand. Was this some kind of test, or a strange custom? He wanted to say something smart, something that would show respect, but the words stuck in his throat. "Love?" Jason finally asked. I don't know what you mean." Lyra's smile did not fade. "On Aelari, we value truth and emotion. When we meet, we ask this question to know if hearts are open. It is how we begin trust." Jason swallowed. On Earth, people were careful with words like love. It was personal, private. But here, on this new planet, the rules were different. He looked at Lyra again. She was not just an alien princess. She was someone real, someone who trusted him enough to ask a deep question on their first meeting. "I am Jason Trent," he said finally, "from Earth. I want to learn, to understand your people." Lyra nodded. "That is a good start." The crowd began to relax, some aliens smiling softly. Jason felt a weight lift from his chest. Maybe this strange question was not a trap after all. Maybe it was an invitation. As the ceremony continued, Jason knew one thing for sure. This meeting was only the beginning. The future with the Aelari would be full of surprises, challenges, and maybe new feelings. After the meeting, Jason felt both excited and confused. He walked through the bright halls of the Aelari Palace, thinking about Princess Lyra's question. "Do you love me?" It was not like any greeting he had ever known. Lyra had said that on her planet, asking about feelings was part of trust. But Jason was still unsure how to answer. On Earth, people did not ask love so soon, especially not between strangers. Later that day, Jason was invited to a private room. Lyra was waiting there, sitting on a soft chair. She looked calm but curious. "Jason," she said softly, "on Aelari, words are powerful. Saying, 'I love you' means more than just feelings. It means you promise to protect and respect the other person. It is a bond." Jason listened carefully. The idea was strange but beautiful. He felt the weight of her words. If he said those words, it would not be a simple thing. It would be a promise. "I want to be honest," Jason said. "On Earth, people take time to say love. They learn about each other first. It is not easy to say." Lyra nodded. "I understand. But here, feelings are clear and open. We believe hiding feelings leads to problems." Jason smiled a little. "We hide feelings because sometimes they are scary. Sometimes we are afraid of being hurt." Lyra's eyes softened. "Fear is natural, but courage to be open is stronger." Jason realized this princess was wise and brave. She was not just royalty. She was someone who saw the heart behind the words. Over the next days, Jason learned more about the Aelari culture. He saw how their people talked openly about feelings in ways humans rarely did. When two Aelari meet, they share not just words but emotions. This honesty made their bond strong. But it was hard for Jason to adjust. Sometimes he felt embarrassed or unsure when people asked about his feelings. He was used to hiding his worries and fears. One day, during a meal, an Aelari elder asked Jason, "Do you feel happy here, human?" Jason looked at the elder and thought for a moment. It was not an easy question. "Yes," Jason said honestly. "I am happy to be here, but I am also nervous. This is a new world for me." The elder smiled kindly. "It is good to say the truth. Truth builds trust." Jason felt a small warmth inside. Maybe this culture was right. Being open was the key to friendship. But not everyone was happy about the humans' arrival. Some Aelari whispered that humans were too different, too wild. They worried that trusting humans was dangerous. Jason overheard some of these talks. He understood that gaining trust would be difficult. It would take more than words. Still, he wanted to prove that humans could be friends and allies. And maybe one day, he could answer Lyra's question with his true feelings. For now, Jason knew he must learn and grow in this strange new world, and that the path to trust was not simple, but worth trying. Days passed quickly on the bright, strange planet of the Aelari. Jason Trent found himself spending more time with Princess Lyra. She was not just a ruler. She was curious, brave, and surprisingly kind. At first, Jason thought their talks would be formal and difficult. But Lyra had a way of making him feel comfortable, like he was not a visitor from another world, but a friend. One afternoon, they walked together in the palace gardens. Strange plants with glowing leaves surrounded them, and soft music from the fountains filled the air. "Jason," Lyra said quietly, "why do humans hide their feelings so much?" Jason smiled, thinking carefully. "We hide because sometimes people use feelings to hurt each other. We are afraid of being weak." Lyra looked at him closely. "But feelings are strength. When we share feelings, we understand each other better." Jason nodded. He was beginning to see why the Aelari valued honesty so much. It was different from Earth, but maybe it was better. Their conversations grew longer, and Jason found himself sharing stories about Earth, the oceans, the forests, the people he loved. Lyra listened with wide eyes, fascinated by this world so far from hers. In return, Lyra told Jason about the history of the Aelari, about how their people had survived wars and hardships by trusting each other and keeping their emotions clear. One night, as they sat by a glowing tree, Lyra asked, "Jason, do you think you will stay here long?" Jason looked at the stars above and smiled. "I don't know yet, but I want to understand your people better, and I want to help." Lyra's face softened. "You are different from others. You do not hide behind walls." Jason felt something warm in his chest. For the first time, he realized he cared about this alien princess more than he expected. But their growing bond was not without problems. The palace was full of eyes and ears. Some did not trust Jason. Some whispered that the princess was making a mistake. One day, an advisor warned Lyra, "Jason is a human. They are unpredictable. You should be careful." Lyra replied firmly, "I trust Jason. He has shown courage and honesty." Jason overheard this and felt both grateful and worried. Trust was fragile here, and he knew he had to be careful. Still, the princess's faith gave him strength. He wanted to prove that humans could be more than explorers or warriors. They could be friends, even family. One afternoon, Jason helped Lyra with a task few outsiders could do. He used his knowledge of technology to fix a broken communication device that was vital for the palace. Lyra watched him work, impressed. "You have skills that surprise me." Jason laughed. "Humans have many tools, but you have something special too, your heart." Lyra smiled. "Perhaps together we can build a new future." As the sun set, painting the sky with pink and gold, Jason and Lyra stood side by side. They were from different worlds, but in that moment, they felt connected. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Their unlikely bond was growing stronger every day. Jason Trent had been on the Alari planet for several weeks now. He had grown closer to Princess Lyra and had begun to understand her people better. But not everything was peaceful. One evening, Jason overheard a secret conversation while walking in the palace halls. Two men spoke in low voices, their faces hard and serious. "We cannot let the humans take over," one said. "They are too different. The princess is weak to trust them." Jason's heart beat faster. He realized there was a rebellion brewing, a Lyra who did not want peace with humans. He hurried to find Lyra. She listened carefully when he told her what he had heard. "This is dangerous," she said quietly. "The rebels want to stop the alliance. They will do anything to protect their way of life." Jason felt a mix of fear and determination. He knew this was a turning point. If the rebellion grew, the future of both their peoples would be at risk. The next day, Lyra called a meeting with her council. Jason stood by her side as she spoke. "We must show strength," Lyra said. "We will not let fear stop us. Humans and Alari can be friends and allies." Some council members nodded, but others looked doubtful. Jason stepped forward. "On Earth, people face problems by working together. We can help stop this rebellion, but only if we trust each other." Lyra smiled at Jason's courage. "Thank you, Jason. Together, we will find a way." The days that followed were tense. Jason and Lyra worked hard to learn more about the rebels. They discovered that the rebels were led by a powerful Alari named Thurun. He believed the Alari should stay apart from humans forever. Jason wanted to meet Thurun, to talk, and maybe change his mind. But Lyra warned him, "He is dangerous. He will not listen easily." Despite the risks, Jason decided to try. He found a secret path to the rebel camp, hidden deep in the forests. Thurun was a tall, strong man with sharp eyes. He looked at Jason with suspicion. "Why should we listen to a human?" Thurun asked. "You are strangers in our world." Jason spoke calmly. "Because we want peace. Because our futures depend on it." Thurun laughed bitterly. "Peace is for the weak. The strong survive by fighting." Jason did not give up. Strength can come from friendship, not just war. We can help each other. For a moment, Thurun was silent. Then he said, "I will think on your words, but don't expect me to change quickly." Jason left the camp feeling hopeful but aware of the danger. Back at the palace, Lyra waited anxiously. Jason told her what happened. "We must prepare," she said. "The rebellion will not stop easily." Jason nodded. "But together, we are stronger." The battle for peace was just beginning, and both Jason and Lyra knew they had to be brave, for their people and for each other. The palace was quiet that morning, but inside, tension filled the air. Jason Trent stood before a group of Alari elders. They looked serious, their eyes watching him closely. "Jason," Lyra said beside him, "if you want to earn our trust, you must complete the trials of trust. These trials show honesty, courage, and respect." Jason nodded. He understood this was not just a test of strength, but a test of heart. The first trial was the trial of truth. Jason was led to a small chamber where a glowing orb hovered. The orb would sense if he was hiding anything. Jason took a deep breath and stepped forward. The orb's light grew brighter as he spoke honestly about his fears and hopes. "I am afraid," Jason said quietly, "but I want to help. I want to prove that humans can be trusted." The orb pulsed softly, then dimmed. The elders nodded in approval. Next came the trial of courage. Jason was taken to a vast field where strange creatures roamed. His task was to retrieve a sacred flower from the center without hurting any creatures or himself. Jason moved carefully. The creatures watched him, curious but not hostile. After several tense minutes, he reached the flower and picked it gently. The elders smiled. You have shown bravery and respect. The final trial was the trial of respect. Jason was blindfolded and led into a room filled with whispers, voices of Aelari ancestors. He had to listen and respond with respect to their stories. Jason closed his eyes and focused. He spoke softly, promising to honor their history and protect their future. When he opened his eyes, Lyra was waiting, her face full of pride. "You have done well," she said. "Not many outsiders complete the trials." Jason felt a warm glow inside. He had crossed a barrier between worlds. Over the next days, Jason and Lyra grew closer. They talked about their dreams and fears. Jason admired Lyra's strength and kindness. Lyra appreciated Jason's honesty and courage. But not everyone accepted Jason so easily. Some nobles still whispered doubts. Jason knew trust took time. One evening, as the sun set, Lyra took Jason to the palace balcony. The stars sparkled above them. "Jason," she said softly, "you have faced the trials with honor. But the greatest trial is yet to come, the trial of the heart." Jason looked at her, heart pounding. "Do you love me?" Lyra asked again, her voice gentle but serious. Jason smiled, feeling stronger than before. "I am still learning what love means here, but I know I care for you deeply." Lyra reached for his hand. "That is enough for now." Together, they watched the stars, ready to face the challenges ahead. Their bond had grown stronger, built on trust, courage, and respect. And in a world full of unknowns, that was the greatest strength of all. Peace seemed close, but danger was growing inside the palace walls. Jason Trent felt a cold chill as he walked through the grand halls. He had heard whispers, talks of betrayal. One afternoon, Jason was summoned to Princess Lyra's chamber. She looked worried, her usual calm replaced by tension. "Jason," she said quietly, "someone close to us is working against the crown. They want to stop the peace with humans." Jason's eyes widened. "Who is it?" Lyra shook her head. "I don't know yet, but we must find out quickly." Jason nodded. He knew this was more dangerous than any outside enemy. A traitor could ruin everything. Together, they began to watch the palace carefully. Jason used his knowledge of human investigation, while Lyra relied on her people's instincts. One night, Jason followed a shadowy figure near the council rooms. The figure spoke in a secret code, passing information to an unknown listener. Jason's heart pounded. He recorded the conversation and hurried back to Lyra. "This is Theron's plan," Jason said. "He has allies inside the palace." Lyra's face grew serious. "We must act fast. If the rebels control the palace, the alliance is lost." They told only a few trusted guards and prepared a plan to catch the traitors. Days later, during a council meeting, Jason and Lyra watched closely. Suddenly, one of the council members whispered a secret message to a guard. The guard nodded and left. Jason and Lyra followed quietly. They caught the guard delivering information to rebel forces outside the city. The palace was shaken. The traitor was close to Lyra, someone she had trusted for years. Jason and Lyra faced the council. "We have proof of betrayal," Lyra said firmly. "We will not allow this to destroy our people." The rebels inside the palace were arrested, but the danger was not over. Theron's power grew stronger outside the city, and now he had friends within. Jason felt the weight of the fight ahead. "We must be smart and strong," he told Lyra. "This war is not just weapons. It is about trust and heart." Lyra looked at Jason, her eyes shining with determination. "Together, we will protect our people and show that humans and Aelari can stand as one." Jason smiled. He felt a deep respect for the princess, strong, brave, and ready to fight for peace. That night, under the bright stars, Jason and Lyra made a silent promise. No matter the danger, they would face it side by side. The enemy was not only outside, sometimes it was within. But their bond was stronger than betrayal, and the future of two worlds depended on it. The tension in the palace was thick. Jason Trent and Princess Lyra had just uncovered a dangerous traitor within their own ranks. Yet, despite the fear and uncertainty, something unexpected was about to happen. Something that would change everything. One afternoon, an urgent message arrived. Rebel forces were preparing to attack the city, and time was running out. The palace needed a plan, and fast. Jason stepped forward, confident. He had studied many human technologies and tactics, and he believed he could help. "We need to use what we know," Jason said to Lyra and her council. "With my technology, I can build a device to detect enemy movements. It will give us an advantage." Lyra nodded. "Do it, Jason. Our people will follow your lead." Jason worked tirelessly with the palace engineers, creating a small but powerful sensor. It could scan the surrounding lands and send signals when enemies approached. The day of the attack arrived. The rebels moved quickly, hoping to catch the city by surprise. But Jason's device picked up their movements early. The palace defenses were ready. A fierce battle began outside the city walls. Humans and Aelari fought side by side, their trust and courage shining through. During the fight, Jason noticed something strange. Lyra moved with a grace and strength he had never seen before. Her eyes glowed softly, and her hands seemed to control the very air around her. After the battle, Jason asked her about this power. Lyra smiled, a little embarrassed. "It is a secret of my people, the ancient gift of the Aelari. We can control energy, protect our home, and heal wounds." Jason was amazed. "I had no idea." "It is rare," Lyra said. "Only the royal bloodline has this ability. It is why I must protect my people, and why I must trust you." Jason looked at Lyra with new respect. She was not just a princess, but a guardian with powers beyond his understanding. Together, they planned the next steps. The rebellion was not finished, and threats still loomed. But now, Jason and Lyra knew their strengths. His technology and her ancient power could unite their peoples in a way no one expected. That night, under the glowing stars, Jason felt hope. He was not just a visitor anymore. He was part of something bigger. And with Lyra by his side, he believed they could face whatever the future held. The palace was alive with energy and hope. After the recent battle, humans and Aelari stood united, stronger than ever. Yet, a quiet tension remained in the air. Jason Trent knew that the most important moment was coming. The moment that could change everything between him and Princess Lyra. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jason and Lyra walked together in the palace gardens. The glowing flowers lit their path, and the stars began to shine softly above. Lyra stopped and looked at Jason. Her eyes were full of emotion. "Jason," she said gently, "do you love me?" Jason felt his heart race. This question had come before, but now it was different. They had faced danger together, shared secrets, and built trust. Now it was time to answer honestly. He took a deep breath and looked into her eyes. "Lyra, I have learned much since I arrived. Your people, your world, your courage, it has all changed me." Jason paused, choosing his words carefully. "I care for you deeply, not just as an ally, but as someone important in my life." Lyra's face softened, a smile breaking through. "That is all I needed to hear." Suddenly, the gardens filled with the soft sound of music. The palace council and trusted friends appeared, watching with warm smiles. They had come to witness this moment, a symbol of the new bond between humans and Aelari. Lyra took Jason's hand. "This declaration is more than words. It is a promise to build a future together, one of peace and friendship." Jason nodded, feeling a new strength inside him. "I promise to stand by your side through all challenges." The crowd cheered softly, the sound echoing through the night. Jason and Lyra's union was a symbol of hope, proof that two very different worlds could come together. But this was only the beginning. Outside the palace walls, the rebels still threatened peace. Jason and Lyra knew that love and trust were powerful weapons, but they must also be ready to fight for their future. As the celebration continued, Jason looked at Lyra and felt something he had never felt before, a true connection that went beyond words and worlds. Together, they would face whatever came next, and they would do it as partners, united by love and courage. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, Jason felt ready. Because now he was not alone. The city was buzzing with energy, but beneath the excitement, danger still lurked. Jason Trent and Princess Lyra had declared their bond, but the rebellion was far from over. The rebels, led by Tharun, were growing stronger and more desperate. Jason stood beside Lyra on the palace balcony, overlooking the city. Lights flickered in the streets, and citizens went about their lives, unaware of the storm approaching. "We must prepare," Lyra said firmly. "Tharun will not stop until he takes control." Jason nodded. "We need to unite our people, humans and Aelari, to stand as one." Together, they organized meetings with leaders from both sides. Jason used his knowledge of human diplomacy, while Lyra spoke with the passion of a true leader. Slowly, walls between the two peoples began to fall. At first, some humans and Aelari were afraid. They remembered old stories of war and distrust. But Jason and Lyra showed them a new way, one of cooperation and hope. One day, during a gathering in the palace hall, Jason spoke to the crowd. "We are stronger together. Alone, we are easy to defeat, but united we can protect our homes and our future." Lyra stood beside him. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for the peace of all. Let this be the beginning of a new era." The crowd cheered, their voices echoing through the hall. For the first time, humans and Aelari felt like one people. The rebels heard of this unity and grew angry. Tharun planned a final attack to crush the alliance. But Jason and Lyra were ready. Using Jason's technology and Lyra's powers, they prepared defenses and trained soldiers from both sides. The battle began at dawn. The rebels moved quickly, but the united forces held strong. Jason fought alongside Lyra, watching as her energy shielded their allies and her leadership inspired courage. Despite the chaos, Jason never lost sight of their goal, a future where trust and love could win over fear and hate. After hours of fighting, the rebels began to retreat. Tharun's plans had failed. Jason and Lyra stood victorious, but they knew this was only the start of rebuilding. In the quiet after the battle, Lyra turned to Jason. "We did it together." Jason smiled. "Yes, together, anything is possible." The city began to heal, and hope grew like the glowing flowers in the palace gardens. The bond between human and Aelari had proven stronger than any enemy. And with that bond, a new dawn was rising for both worlds. The morning sun rose over the Aelari city, casting golden light on the towers and gardens. After the long battles and hard days, peace had finally come. Jason Trent stood beside Princess Lyra on the palace balcony. They looked out at the world they had fought to protect, a world now full of hope. "It feels different," Jason said softly, "like everything is possible." Lyra smiled. "Yes, we have made history, humans and Aelari united." Jason reached for her hand. "I never imagined I would find this. Not just a mission, but a home. Not just a friend, but someone I love." Lyra's eyes shone with happiness, and I never imagined I would trust a human so deeply. Behind them, the palace buzzed with celebration. The people were dancing, singing, and sharing stories. For the first time, humans and Aelari were truly one community. Jason thought about the journey. The strange first meeting, the challenges, the trials, the battles. It had not been easy, but every moment had been worth it. "We have much to rebuild," Lyra said, "but with trust and love, nothing is impossible." Jason nodded. "We will face the future together." As they stood side by side, a new era began. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating the bond between two worlds. Jason and Lyra knew that their story was just the start, a story of courage, honesty, and love that would inspire generations to come. And with hearts open and hands joined, they stepped forward into the new dawn.